right. Thank
Good.
you, Carol. Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you, Vicky. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll get rid of that.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. It is Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. It is past the hour of 5:30. I'd like to call the Northborough Council on Aging meeting to order. So we will start with audience sharing. Don't see any, so we will move on past audience sharing. Everyone got a copy of the minutes from our January 13th meeting?
Yes.
And if there are any questions or concerns, if not, if I can have a motion.
I motion to accept the meeting minutes.
Thank you, Bill. And Vicky seconded. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you. All right, the Friends report, I did get a little update. Friends were not able to attend this evening, but they wanted to let me know that they are now at 724 total members. And Linda, I'll just give this piece of paper to you. Oh, that's right. Sorry. Okay. That their annual appeal continues until the end of April, and that's where their gross receipts are about $18,092.60 from 192 different donations, and they are on target for previous years. For 2026, the total support provided to the senior center. Okay, so obviously we're in the beginning of 2026, but they're at $5,237. They are going to be drawing the raffle tickets for their Pot of Gold raffle, which is worth over $600. They'll be drawing the tickets on March 17th, which is St. Patrick's Day, and there's still time to purchase tickets if you want. Just get a hold of somebody. I assume there's somebody here that almost every day that has them, right? A volunteer that has the tickets to, yes, for the Pot of Gold.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Until St. Patrick's Day.
All right, and then they asked they are having a spaghetti sauce competition at Whitney Place on Friday, May 1st from 5 to 7. There will also be an Italian raffle basket and wine basket, so keep a lookout for that. That will be a small fundraiser because the Whitney Place can only host about 48 seats. So if you really want to try 8 to 10 different tomato sauces on pasta, that's it should even fast when they start giving them out. And their next meeting is on March 23rd. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought they were for me.
I have the agenda here. Okay, I got one here. Okay, so we have Carol going to give us her director's report with a brief update on her action plan.
Yeah, going to be very brief today. So the AARP is going very well. We have the mock town hall. I don't know if everyone's aware of that. On the April 13th, the town is holding a mock town hall at the senior center, where they're going to have the opportunity that people can kind of hear what will be coming up at town meeting, with the hope that they bring up, ideas, and then people, the town can say, oh, okay, I haven't thought of that or whatever, or the people have time to think about it. So it's a great opportunity for us to, anything like that, we'll leave on our brochures and that type of thing. Whatever. Pick up 1 or 2 people.
And they're calling it a mock town hall?
Mock town hall. It's like a mini town hall, just introducing. It won't be like, they won't go over the sort of regular stuff. It's more the different
the budget, most of the financial pieces of it. They're trying to figure out a way in which to streamline our town meeting and hopefully get some of the concerns ironed out. They are trying to figure out how they're going to do it, because you can't go over every warrant article in one night in a mock town hall when we can't get through them in 4 nights at a regular town hall. So I think that they're just going to try. They want it to be more of a conversation again, to Carol's point, the idea that this is a testing ground. For those who've been in town long enough, we used to have little town meetings, which were prior to town meeting. They were not binding, and they were held at the high school. And the same people who went to those, ended up going to town.
And I don't think they'll bother bringing up the uncontroversial things. I think they'll
Oh, right,
go
right.
over the things
It's
that are more
the, it's the budget stuff, and I don't even think they'll bring up, they're not even gonna bring up the zoning articles, because they will have not finished their public hearing process or their finalization, I believe. So, or they've already done that, but it should be interesting.
And who's moderating that?
I don't know whether our town moderator or whether they're having like a facilitator. I don't know the structure of it. I will be interested to see if it is a large showing, that they'll get to see the confines of our parking. Which will be exciting for our town elections, right?
So, we also, we did start reducing the number of newsletters. Unfortunately, the friends aren't here, and I missed their meeting the other day because I was sick, so that's unfortunate. But we have cut down on them, but the publisher that we have will not let us cut down to as much as we want to, because then his publisher, his printer is not going to be happy and this and that. So I am actively looking to switch publishers. I've been in contact with the woman, and we'll probably do it starting in August. But
Do we have a contract with that publisher or you coach?
it's like very old. It will be to end it, especially by then too.
You're looking for a printer, I have someone that I work with in Worcester who's very reasonable.
You know what we're looking for at the mailing house.
He doesn't.
Really, even if you're not printing, because a lot of people, a lot of mailing houses will only do it if you print it too. So, because this publisher, they'll do it, they'll print it, they'll mail it to us. They'll mail as many copies as we want, as few copies as we want, however we want. They're much more amenable to our needs. Things are going well at the bistro. They had inspection. They got a perfect rating. Everything was just 100%. So that's really nice. It's fantastic. If you look at the check-ins and stuff, the numbers were a little bit down because of the weather. I mean, the weather was just, we had to cancel so many times, and sometimes when you reschedule, you don't get the same amount of people, but you do what you can do. The Highland Woods concert, really successful. We're definitely going to do some more musical events.
Yeah.
Were you there at that one?
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah. And we held our first of several surveys on communication about the newsletter. Anybody who has the email newsletter might have seen it. And seems like we're doing well. People seem to like our newsletter. Nothing else with transportation, outreach. There's nothing, you know, I mean, Jocelyn wrote something about the man who, what was he had,
Didn't realize about our transportation for his medical appointments. So
Yeah.
he then
so she hooked him up with that. And we also found we have a grant that, a transportation grant, so there were a couple of people who really needed a ride outside of our times, and she was able to do that too, so it's really, yeah. And Springwell updates, you know, it's kind of disheartening to see people getting disenrolled, and that's really, yeah. I think they're doing what they can do. You know, I saw another email about that Jocelyn forwarded to me about the state has to cut grants for caregivers. You know, people who need like a
PCA.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
they're having to cut some of the extra hours to reduce the deficit in the PCA budget.
Yeah. Well, what they did though is they contacted the people in the program to say what kind of cuts would you like to see, you know, which I think is somewhat, well, I mean, it's better than, it's not great, but it's better than just saying, well, this is what we're doing, you know, but no matter what, it's allowed to.
Charlie Carr was one of the members of the disabled population that was on the focus group.
He's been probably on every focus.
He was the creator, he was really the creator of the PCA program, so he said it was hard to cut his baby.
Yeah, and as far as the action plan, there were two changes. One was we added, no, there was the one change, I think, really. I mean, we're switching publishers. Before it said we're considering publishers, but we are considering.
Okay, so you're in improve internal, external communications, that one? Okay.
Yeah. We added on I think the main thing was that we added on from the last one that I gave you, we added on something about getting our technology in order. And here we are with some technology working, but we still have a bit to do with that. We've made a lot of progress towards different goals, but most of them we have not met. It's like, a lot of work towards something. So next time we'll have something exciting to report.
All right, so on the action plan, will you highlight the ones that have been accomplished as we move along?
I will. I'll do it and I'll write down or whatever or something or something like that. But this time I just didn't think it was worth doing.
The beginning of the year.
Yeah.
These will all be part of the public record attachments. So
I don't send them out, but, to ask, the current minutes reference an attachment. Well, we got that attachment 2 months ago, so I
Right.
don't send it again,
Right,
because otherwise you'll print the whole thing.
right,
And it just compounds, so, but I attach them when they go into town hall.
right. I just want to let anybody that does actually watch this later on, they can see what we just spoke about, the actual paperwork.
When the minutes are approved at the next meeting.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you. All right, now you will do the certificate.
Oh,
So I said, please have the survey example, on the screen.
you want it on the screen?
Well, I don't have it on my paper.
Let me think. That's tricky to get it on the screen. How about if I just print off copies of it?
All right, so we're gonna take a pause, but we will stay on camera while we pause. While Carol goes and gets hard copies of the
The survey,
survey,
the one that,
the one that Stephanie has provided, that we want to just,
Actually,
critique.
I have a copy here, so.
you have one? Okay, why don't you give it to me?
Oh, I know, I scribbled on it.
Is it so bad?
Well,
We don't care.
Okay, it's either way. If it's really bad, then I'll do it the other way. What is it?
Sure, it's fine.
okay,
You'll help further the discussion quickly.
okay, all right.
So
We just come up with a maybe,
So, if anyone has Jeopardy music on their phone,
A minor thing, we're gonna go on, spend time doing the strategic plan.
well, so under strategic plan, we're going to talk about the survey, right?
I do want to just give a brief comment, which I will hold on, the elderly and disabled.
Oh, yes.
Maybe I should just do that quickly before we start.
Sure,
the strategic
okay.
plan.
All right, so this was in reference to our last meeting when you said you were gonna do some follow-up.
Right, so I just want to give you a quick update, but I'll wait till Carol
Okay.
gets back, and that way I won't have to, well, we can just be on
Okay.
strategic plan
All right.
and not have to
All right, so,
circle back to some.
all right, we'll do old business right before we do the strategic plan. That's perfect.
You can need the Jeopardy music.
There's in the movie Moonstruck, which I just,
Oh,
it's a fun movie, and, everybody's sitting really quiet at the table while they're waiting for John to come, we're ready to come to see, and the grandfather says, somebody tell a joke. Just because it's so quiet and nobody's speaking.
And it was lovely. We were in the Botanic Garden.
Oh, I went to the orchids, yeah.
I think we need to go today as well, as we were going. The orchid exhibit at the Botanic Garden is extraordinary. And we went to the After Dark. And as I was walking around, I encountered some other folks who said, it's orchid after dark, but it's also orchids in the dark. So we all had our iPhones out.
Yeah.
They can't,
Wait, one time we see you next year.
But pictures,
My best thing now.
Either way, you can, we can take
photos,
photos.
I would just use this one.
This one just to
I went to it during the day. I mean, it was beautiful, and it was just so interesting that they said orchids has the largest species of flowers.
Yeah, there's like 17,000 or something like that.
And I did not know Vanilla Bean comes from a North Cape.
Oh, really? No, neither did I.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, I mean,
It's one of the few things I know about organizations.
it was fascinating. It was beautiful too. And each one of them was just so interesting. So anyway, all right. Before we go on to our strategic planning, I'm going to just jump to old business because Vicky has some update on the elderly and taxation fund committee.
So I did reach out, Lisa Trost, who is the treasurer and staff liaison of town hall, did respond when I asked what the situation was because we hadn't met in quite a while. So we actually have a meeting scheduled on March 31st at 5:30. So, so that's good. I'm glad that we were getting together. I don't think they haven't had really many people asking about it, and I don't know why. Maybe there's not enough awareness out in the community by the people who would be eligible for it. If people are interested in the eligibility requirements, it's right on the town site under the Elderly and Disabled Taxation Fund Committee. It gives information about the requirements, and I would encourage people to look there. So we'll see what happens on March 31st.
All right, well, maybe, even though we don't have a wide viewing audience, maybe you could report back to us next month on what you learned at that
Right,
meeting
exactly.
and how maybe, if we could help with the,
Yeah.
awareness
And
program.
Jocelyn is looped in with that committee, and she is aware of it, and such as Carol, so to the extent that the senior center can make people aware who might benefit.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Carol, is there space in the newsletter that you could put a little box somewhere that says,
You know, that's one reason I also want to switch publishers, because right now it's really hard to like control that type of thing, you know? But definitely in the long term, we could get, you know, once we switch to the other publisher.
All right, so under our strategic planning, tonight we want to talk about the content of the survey and format, as well as how we would want it distributed. Carol will give us some insight as to what she found worked or did not work in the recent survey that she just did about the published newsletter and how people want to get that. So we'll get to that after we talk a little bit about the survey. I guess I don't necessarily think that we, well, so we have a couple of things. What the questions are, how we want them to be answered as far as whether check boxes or things like that. But since everybody actually did see this after our last meeting, is there anything that, you know, that strikes you? And I'll start with Sue because we all know what strikes her because we can see it on my so again, how would you like to do this? Do you want to start with question one? Do we feel comfortable that that is an important question? We could talk about the numbering afterwards. We did talk, Carol and I both spoke a lot about, you don't want to make it too long because then nobody will answer it. Do we think 8 questions with one open-ended makes the most sense? Is there something that people have heartburn over that they really think should be added?
I would just say when we get to the end, I was wondering if we should add demographic questions, just like age and sex.
Yeah, okay.
Gender.
All right, so
It just
Okay.
turns people off. I always feel like the two things sometimes. But you ask people dates and what you do.
Well, you could,
But
You
I guess if you make it off,
ranges.
you know.
You could put ranges.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
70,
Right. Okay.
and they,
All right, so we don't jump all over. All right, so demographic questions at the end.
For
So we do want to hear from people under the age of 60, right? Do we want, and I don't think you want it to be like 0 to 60 or 0 to 55, right? I mean, you know,
why don't you just say
under
60,
under 60.
less
Yeah.
than 60?
under 60? Okay.
Yeah.
So we have under 60,
although then they wouldn't be attending the senior center.
but they might. I mean, people,
A few, very, very, very. few.
right. But
Yeah,
again,
very few.
the strategic plan is supposed to encompass more than just people who are currently coming in. It's also to help us prepare for the people who are not yet coming.
Yeah. How are you getting the distribution list?
We didn't get that far yet.
The only
Well, the
thing is,
reason I asked
Oh.
is if it's not going to
Oh,
anybody under 60, it's gonna move
Oh,
on.
sure,
So
yes.
that's the only.
Oh, yeah, no,
Unless
because,
they lie.
no, I mean, no, because you can go to housing authorities and they're under 60,
Okay,
you know.
so that's the only question.
Okay, makes sense, okay.
the one thing is that the questions are really geared towards people who were visiting. It doesn't really ask the opinion of like, why don't you go, or what would you like, or that type of thing. They're really geared much more to
Right,
people who are
so-
attending.
So then am I incorrect to think that the questions are supposed to tell us where, this is a survey as where we are, not where we want to go?
Well, I think you could get a little bit of where we want to go too. I'd like number 3, not interested in current programs. You could put in parentheses, what would you be interested in?
But
or
then
something.
you need that to be in a.
Right.
Yes.
All right, okay, so just, I just saw back up, so is it just about current stuff? Because then I think to your point, it's right, we don't, the age. I still guess we should know whether you're under 60 or you between, I think it still has validity to it, but,
But I think we're also trying to target people that are over 60 that are.
Right.
Why don't we need to, but then we need to have some responses that will fit them like.
all right, so under 60, typically it's under 60, 60 to 65, 66, I mean,
But you can't do under 16, start.
I'm just thinking of what we do on our shine stuff, it's under 60, you know. Well, let's put it this way, we'll have demographic questions and I will look to see what is typical of those, okay? Do we care male, female, or?
Yeah, I think.
So I wonder if a question, something like, if you've never attended the senior center, and then like list some specific events that we've had, would these be of interest to you? Like, I don't know whether it would be like that sports guy, like, you know,
Yeah,
if you've never attended, would an event such as, which of these events might be of interest? You'd be specific about
yeah,
what they were.
that would be a helpful question.
I really do think, I think that kind of gets answered by 1 and 2. All right, so we jumped
No,
to the,
but just, my point is that, you know, if people have never been here, they don't know, like, what does that mean, right? A day trip or not, like, what day trips are out, right, talking about. So, I mean, I think it's helpful, I think it would be helpful to be specific about,
Yeah.
what are you missing out on? And it's
And
not
also it
like,
says, what are the main reasons you do attend? So if you don't attend, you might be like, well, I don't attend. You know what I mean?
so we jumped to the end for demographics. I'd like to go back to the beginning now.
Yes.
Okay, so, all right, it's okay, all right. For question number 1, how often do you visit the senior center? Weekly, a few times a month, a few times a year. I've been once or twice, I've never attended. Does that sound reasonable?
Unless,
Me.
Right, okay.
The other thing I would say is once or twice, like in a lifetime, or
yeah, like I
Right.
drop by, there are people who have dropped by, like maybe attended 1 or 2 events and
Yeah.
haven't done one, there's definitely people like that.
do we want this as an attendant, I will never return.
No, no. Okay. All right. What are the main reasons you do attend the senior center? Okay, check all that apply. So, right. Socializing, meeting people, exercise or fitness, classes or education, meals or nutrition, special events or trips, support services or resources, convenient location or other. Okay.
So like the music things, you would call those special events.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Special, yeah, as
Right.
opposed to regularly.
Like if I was checking this off for myself, I would, let's see, what are the main reasons you attend?
It would be better if we were consistent, like how often do you visit? What are the main reasons you visit the senior center? Just makes
Right.
it feel better.
And I think visit is actually just better
Yeah.
because
Yes.
you don't have to attend something,
Right.
right? You can visit.
Yeah.
social. Okay,
I
like
think
that
we
too.
should, just have special events, get rid of trips, because we really don't.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
we had
was-
one last year.
I was-
I mean, event, and this may not be true, but just, events tend to seem like more of a big thing,
Right.
whereas if it's just a music, do you want to say special events or programs, or is it something that, you know, if you know, you have your things out in the parking lot, where are you comfortable in, and then also will make people think of things that are just like, oh, I can't go to music, or, you know.
Well, classes and education are things that, everything but events is something I participate in. An event is something I go and see. So
Okay.
that's how I would see it differently.
It covers everything from the all day, you know, big things. to the
I mean, it
small
is broad. The only thing is that you don't get many, feel like people really like musical events compared to speakers or something.
Or we could
So
do
there
that.
is that. I think, with the one about meals and nutrition program, I would get rid of the word nutrition. I mean, people don't think of it that way, you know? I would be like meal, lunch or, special dinners, you know, or something like
Yeah.
that.
Right,
That's
yeah,
good.
okay, so instead of meals and nutrition programs, do, the bistro. We
Yeah.
just say the
Yeah.
bistro,
Yeah.
Bistro event, bistro lunch or event.
bistro
Yeah,
lunch.
yes, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more in line with what we do. I don't know, convenient location does not make sense to me at all.
Yeah.
What is the main reason you visit? It's convenient.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't like it, but I
Alright,
can be.
okay.
Yeah.
I think you got the word name. Just the reason.
What are
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
reasons,
agree.
right?
Yeah, I like that.
Right, what are the reasons you, okay, so what are the reasons you visit the senior center? Check all that apply. Right, right. Okay, not that I want to throw a wrench in it, do we want, them graded, or do we just want to know? Alright, if you do not attend or attend rarely, what are the main reasons? So now, we want to attend, or we changing it to visit?
I would be consistent.
And to visit, okay.
Yeah. And you can say, what are the reasons? I mean, do you want to say name?
Well,
Remove me.
if you do not visit or visit rarely, what are the reasons? What are the reasons? Yeah. Not interested in the current program, schedule time conflict, traditional transportation challenges, health and mobility issues. I don't feel the center is for me. I'll just go. I don't know.
Oh, I thought, sorry, that was my,
Oh, okay.
I think you should say I don't, because everything's the present tense.
Right, I don't.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Oh, all right, so I see, I don't know what is offered. Okay, I get it, okay. Parking or accessibility concerns. Prefer activities elsewhere.
I think also maybe something about like not knowing anyone, you know, feeling nervous about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Social anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I don't know that people want
Yeah.
that, but I think that.
Don't
that is
know,
something-
yeah. Don't know anybody.
well, okay, so,
What about financial?
Everything's free though, pretty much.
People may not know that.
right,
They're not attending, you know, they may-
But, yeah.
okay,
lunch is not free.
Well, lunch isn't, but anything, so.
but, to Liz's point, though, before we jump to the next one, I don't feel the center is for me, is looking at the emotional piece of it, but not specifically to what you're saying, so.
Like I would go, I knew someone, so. I'm shy.
Yeah,
Yeah, something on that, no, just trying to think.
I don't know anybody. I mean, just-
Uncomfortable, yeah,
Uncomfortable meeting new people.
Yeah.
okay, exactly, okay.
Or uncomfortable because I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people wouldn't say that, I don't think you're comfortable meeting people, but I like it.
So what am I saying?
Uncomfortable because they don't know anybody.
Sounds so
Yeah, I think
sad.
that's not a bad,
I don't-
but I think it's all right. I
Right,
run into people all the time.
right. Well, then maybe we take out if you don't visit or visit rarely, what is the reasons? Because they don't know anyone there. And then take out the uncomfortable? Or
Okay,
I still don't like that.
I don't know about the, parking or accessibility concerns, I mean. Put it on, it's just like,
Yeah, is that different than
It's
transportation
accessible.
challenges?
Yeah, I would,
But if they have they may have a false perception, you know, like, they may, like there's the financial constraint.
right,
Comment, well, it's just financial.
Right,
It's not, part of what I don't want this is because of, say, parking or accessibility concerns.
Yeah.
That they'll infer there might be
Yeah,
Right.
accessibility concerns. And because I think
extremely
it's unlikely
accessible,
that, that's unlikely to be a real reason, I'd be in favor of taking that.
yeah, I agree.
Right.
Always write it in.
Yeah, they could do that.
Yeah, just, I'm trying to not be negative, you know. I will say, like, if you do not visit, and I'm already feeling like it's a negative thing.
But we do have to,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have
If you do
questions
not
for people
visit,
who aren't coming.
A visit really one of the reasons. And of course, I don't know when we're there, I don't.
Well, the reason that
I'm bringing this up is because I spent the weekend with my parents and my dad has dementia, and I was talking to my mom, like, Council on Aging in Northborough, they live in New York, and do you think Dad would be able to senior center? And she said no.
Yeah. No, I think it's a valid, right, I think it's a valid issue, I'm just trying to figure out the wording, but we'll leave it that way for now, but I definitely think it is something we want to capture.
And the prefer activities elsewhere, it's somewhat nebulous. I mean, did we learn anything? I did do that.
Right, what do we learn from that?
Like that one? I know a little bit of it.
It's inferred because they're not showing up. They do prefer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
So I'm not sure, I don't feel like
Like,
it
what do we
it
get
really
from it?
gives us.
Yeah, I suppose it doesn't, it's
So
just that they're not a couch potato, that they are
You know,
doing
it's
something else
sort of-
somewhere.
All the other things, like,
Well, let's put it this way, the people in Westboro and Hudson would be saying, I prefer going elsewhere, and they say Northborough.
Yeah.
Right, but we, all right, so we can take, I mean, again, less is more in these situations. Which types of activities would interest you most? And that answers, Sue, your question, which you had not interested in the current programs, but would interest you.
Yeah.
Right.
now, it's interesting because, oh, I'm sorry.
All right, good.
Day trips are adding, Kelly, you said we really don't do those at this point, so unless you want to start doing
No.
that, I would take that out.
We don't have a vehicle, so.
You know what I mean? So I'd get that.
Right. And
Also,
I don't know, again, this came off of AI. Why check up to 3? I mean, do we?
No.
Okay, all right, so check all that apply?
or you could,
Check all
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I also think in the question, number 4, would is not necessary. What types of activities interest you the most? That applies to someone who comes and
Interest
someone who doesn't.
you, so it's interests you the most. Look, oh, well, see, that then is, what types of activities interest you the most? That's not the same, that should go before the, why you don't come. Right, because,
Not necessarily.
No,
It might be you don't come because of, you don't have time, but these are the kind of things that be
right,
interested in.
which types of activities would interest you most? To me is so that you would come more often
Yeah,
than not
I-
visit
yeah,
or rarely.
I think it's fine.
Which
I would
way?
say include would because you're effectively asking the same question number 2. If you're not making a conditional change.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
And
so
that's
then
it.
that makes more sense coming after, you say you don't come often. Here's the reasons why you don't come often, but what of these would make you more interested in coming, right? It flows, okay.
Yeah.
Would interest you the most?
I would put it,
Which types of activities would interest you the most? Yes, I'm sorry. Okay. Exercise, movement classes, arts and crafts, educational talks or workshops, games, but you better put Mahjong in there.
Yeah, I know, that's what I was thinking too.
You know,
Very fun.
technology help, do we?
We're going to be boosting that.
one of the things you're missing that has been so popular are music events. You know, or how do you want to phrase that, you know? But
Yeah,
there's quite a few of those, and those
Yeah,
get a big
yeah.
return.
right, well, those are special events,
Live music.
that'd be, yeah, live music.
Live music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so under games, I do think, cards, bingo, I mean, I actually think that I would list them. Bingo is specific, Mahjong is specific, they also play, I say it wrong?
No R.
So is this for
Mahjong.
only for the-
Mahjong. No R.
I'm from New York, I'm saying Marshall.
A year.
is 4 only for the people who answered 3?
No, I think it could be
Anyone,
anyone.
anyone.
Don't you want some work? I mean, I guess what's interesting is we do offer a lot of these. So shouldn't we have some of these up under 2 then?
Not necessarily, because we don't want it too redundant.
Right. And
Well, I
two
know,
is more
but what is
general.
it, what if they come to the senior center now for games? I mean, cool. What if that's the one reason, they, you know?
But that's under,
Socializing.
socializing exercise.
So you could say, yeah, I come for socializing, because most people who are coming for games like that, it's the social aspect that they're.
Right. Yeah, so so 4 is more specific. How can we get the 3s? How can we get the people on number 3 to become, more frequent flyers?
Or the
Just
people
as you
on
said,
2.
it's also 2 though.
It could be the
Yeah,
people
so
on
do we
2
want-
or 3. That's
do we
what
want
I
to say-
thought would.
Well, for number 4, then do we want that specific to the people that are coming? So if you don't visit the senior center, which types of activities would interest you most?
But I think the way it's phrased now, it could be people who don't come so often, or people who don't come at all. It kind of encompasses almost anybody,
Okay,
really.
all right. And
Makes
I
it short.
think it's good if 4 is more specific examples, where number 2 is a more broad, these are the categories that.
Yeah.
And the people who visit often know where they fit, because they know why they're coming, where the types of activities, see, 2 is the reason you visit, 4 are the type of activities would interest you.
Yes.
So I think that we should be more specific, like cards, bingo, pool, mahjong.
And then do we want to do that for each of the things? So for,
MAHJONG.
so for
I
exercise.
wrote MAR, I wrote MARJ on mine. I wrote MARJ.
I thought you were there.
Do we want to say check on the line instead of?
Yes, we did say that. All right, so, pool, board games, but there's another one. Do they play pitch or,
That's a card game.
oh, that's card game? Okay.
Prevention. But do we want to be,
Thinking.
do we want to be specific for each of these then? So like exercise classes, what do they have, yoga?
Oh, we could. It would be.
Yeah,
It would be like.
We can give examples though,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
example.
Yoga, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's enough just to say exercise?
No. No, but if I don't come here often, and I think, oh, you have yoga, oh, maybe I will come. But
No,
if
but
it just
this
says exercise on it.
But it's saying what kind of activities would you be interested in? Like if it's whether it's yoga or whether it's whatever, Zumba, you'd say, oh yeah, that's I would be interested in. You know?
You're either interested in moving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
and we'll be doing separately a program.
so then why are the games, are we giving examples, but we're not giving, so this is why we're not giving examples.
I think 2 is more generic, because when people who visit, I think saying, oh, I come for the fitness programs, or I come for the classes.
Yeah.
Where 4, you're trying to get
Right,
draw
that's
people
right.
in with
Right.
something.
Right,
So
think
I
it's
would
okay
do that,
because
though.
if you
I
do-
would make 2 more like socializing, meeting people, exercising. Go put it into the verbs. I mean,
Oh, that's a good idea.
because you've got
Okay,
a list of things that are kind of fragmented.
Yeah.
And, so getting assistance,
exercising, or
learning something new.
attending class, yeah, all right.
That it would be better and more consistent with the social ones.
Okay, but that's number 2, on number 4.
And then
Just-
4,
I
you
think
think of some of these
the
other.
reason you have games in parentheses is because if you just put games, it's just not clear.
Right,
It could be
no,
anything,
I
it
mean,
could
I
be
appreciate
badminton, it could be-
Right.
You could
Okay.
put EG before that list, so that it doesn't seem like these are the things.
Yeah.
These are examples.
Yeah.
All right, so just generally speaking, I'm on Bob's back. On number 2, we are all in agreement that those categories, the reasons you visit are broader categories, and as Linda suggested, if we're gonna say socializing, we should say exercising. Okay, all right, so then we don't need to talk about that one anymore.
So
No,
those are
but I
all
think you
for-
gotta translate, learning something new. You gotta.
Yeah, well, we
translate.
have to work on them. We have to work, I just wanna make sure that conceptually we agree that those are gonna be, that's that.
Yeah.
And then on number 4, which types of activities would interest you the most? We wanna be a little more specific about what type of activity it is versus the reason for, right? Okay. So we have exercise and movement classes. I hate arts and crafts. I don't know what else you would say.
They don't check them off.
No, I don't mean, I don't like arts and crafts. I don't just like the art.
Yes, and crafts covers.
It does,
You could
okay.
write arts and other crafts.
Arts and crafts is fine, that's.
No,
It sounds like arts and
Okay,
crafts.
educational talks and workshops. Do we have a book club here? No.
You
We
could
do.
put-
Oh,
You
okay.
could put arts and crafts programs, you know, you might.
There is a book club that meets here like
Yeah.
once a week, right?
All right, so would that be educational talks,
No.
work, no, okay. So we, educational talks and workshops.
Someone talking at you.
Right. Should we say or and? Matter?
Yeah.
All right, I got one right.
Yeah, book club, that should be its own.
I'm Long Island, New York. We're not well educated.
I don't know, like the genealogy club, that's similar to a book club.
No, that to me is an education, that's a workshop, that's a workshop.
No, but that's what the people, but the genealogy club is people who get together, the same people every time, and they talk about genealogy.
I would still say that it's not a
Nobody
book,
teaching.
not a book club, just, no. I think that's,
Well, I'm
that's
just thinking of like a group, a category of like people that get together for special interest groups.
My gut feeling is there are many more people who participate in book clubs than in genealogy.
But
So we
special interest groups.
Special interest.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, I can't even read when I wrote something. I like book club to be, have its own, just, somebody might come just for that.
Special interest.
Doesn't matter.
But how are we gonna include everything that are?
All right. Are we doing something with technology? Do you
We
see-
are planning on doing
Okay.
something with technology.
do
so I'd like
support
to
groups?
include that.
Right, with the low vision support group, what else do we have for the support group besides low vision?
We kind of have a fellow agent one, but that's kind of.
Right, and there are some on a monthly basis, there are things that, yeah, there are things that come,
Or people might like a support group,
yeah, that's right.
you know, even though we don't have.
Tapering is support.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Kind of.
And there are one-offs, like in a month, there's the well, that's an educational 12 month.
Do we want to say, I know we want to be intergenerational, but is that something that we want to put in this list? I mean, do we have many intergenerational events?
Halloween, the
We-
trunk or treat.
Yeah,
That's about
trunk or
it.
treat, yeah.
I guess, but trunk or treat is really actually an event for, families. You get some older people that
Right,
go,
but then we didn't you have something with the grandparents and the kids doing something?
we have the alpacas, for example.
Right. So I think
So we can have something.
Okay, so which types of activities would interest you the most? Check all that apply. Exercise and movement classes, arts and crafts, educational talks and workshops, games such as cards, bingo, board games, mahjong, and pool. I say billiards because I don't want them to think we have one. Technology, help, support groups, intergenerational programs, live music events, and book clubs, which we don't have to include book clubs.
Should we have something that encompasses the, Bellman group?
No, that's,
Special.
That's a special interest group.
Do we have
There are
special
short women
interest
group.
we don't have, are we adding
groups? We
special,
didn't have special interest groups.
special interest groups?
Yeah.
Interest group.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, special interest groups, live music. Events. All right, I'm only kidding about the book club, people want me to leave it or not, doesn't matter.
I think it could be its own, I think
Okay.
it could be its own entity.
You're asking what would it?
Yeah.
Right.
well,
I mean, you
vote on-
could
I
have-
vote one-
I mean,
and it's
I mean,
Ruby,
you
so
could
that's-
put special interest groups and then grant e.g. book club,
Yeah,
Delvin's group.
that's what
Okay,
I was
all right.
We could do that.
Okay, all right, okay, that's good.
Because we're never gonna start like that.
Right,
Yeah.
but it's,
Okay, well, that would be under a special interest group.
right,
Right.
it is.
Yeah, okay, okay, sounds good. All right. What would encourage you to attend the senior center more often?
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know, I think she had just some open-ended questions, which we don't necessarily have to.
yeah, I think you want to stay away from
Okay.
open-ended as much as
All right,
possible.
so let's
I
just
don't
like,
know, it's interesting, Chat GPT summarized more than 4,000 open-ended questions and 196 seconds.
Wow.
They just put it and themed them and everything. Did a wonderful analysis. So
All right.
I
So
don't,
for to make this,
no, a different for a project.
Okay, all right, so let's table the open-ended, because there is one, any additional comments or suggestions, which would be at the end. So let's just table 5 and 6 and stick with the, drop down. What days and times, oh, no, okay. I don't like the question, but I get what we're trying to get.
Well, why are we offering weekends when we're not open?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Nor do we have staff to open on weekends.
Yeah, I don't think we should be.
All right, well, remember this
we have
was,
one.
this, right. All right,
You can put Tuesday evenings.
But
Right.
this is a needs assessment. Is that?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, I
Does
mean, we
this
might
give you-
find out, but
what are we
what's
gonna
the
do?
point? We're not.
Well, then we take that strategic plan and we bring it to the town, the select board and the town administrator.
And I think we're so far from that point.
Okay,
that-
all right, fair
I mean-
enough. Okay,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
well, so I think what Carol would be trying to get from this question is, when should we have more programs at the front end or the tail end of the day, right? Right, so, but what days and times work best for you for attending, for visiting the senior center? I mean, I feel like the question should be more complete.
Yeah.
And we're saying, what days and times
for
work best for
visiting
you?
the seniors.
Oh, but including best for you or just, right? What days
Or
and
work
times
best
work
for
best
attending.
for visiting? For doing visiting.
Wait, how about which times do you prefer?
What times do you prefer?
You could just say what times work best for you, because weekday morning, weekday afternoon.
Do you have a day or time preference for visiting seniors?
Oh,
Well,
Right.
it's yes or no.
And then you then you list these below. Or what is your day,
Yeah.
what is your day or time preference for visiting seniors?
and
Do you want to offer
preference.
evening, or do you want to say Tuesday? evening?
I think Tuesday evenings.
Because again-
Once again, you're not gonna.
Yeah, but it's not like we're gonna switch to Wednesday.
Yeah.
evening.
So I
All
would
right,
just
so
say,
Tuesday.
I would say Tuesday.
Okay.
evening.
All right, so what is your preference for visiting the senior center? Weekday morning, weekday afternoons, or Tuesday evening? Okay,
That leading question, I think, is just
What
too
is your-
long.
what is your preference for visiting the senior center?
Yeah,
What time works best?
All right, well, all right.
yeah.
What do you say for talking to someone?
What time works best for you? But
For visiting, I mean,
People are smart, they'll figure it out.
what time is best for visiting the senior centers?
They're taking a senior center survey, because it'll say what days, or pick up days,
Well,
what time
but
works best for you.
we have it, how often do you visit
And
the senior
it's
center?
days or-
What is your reason for visiting the senior center?
One time. You almost don't even have to ask the question, because you only have 3 choices. And you're only asking for which is best for you.
Okay,
You didn't say check all of that apply. Do we really want to know what's best?
That's true.
No, that's true. No, I think we want to know all that.
so that we would say best.
Yeah, so which times work for you?
So this is a good point. Are we learning that much from this question? Unless,
I think there's.
even if you put check all that apply, then maybe you would.
See, that's why I like preference and the word.
Okay.
Well, I think it's not bad if you know that people are very flexible.
I'm still recovering.
Yeah, I can't, I'm out at midnight now, but it's like torture. All right, I can't believe the most simple question is going to be difficulty. What is your
But just what times work for you to attend senior center
Visit.
program?
We just already did that.
To visit. Yeah.
all right, we're gonna leave right now
Because
for
I
what
think
is
you
your
can have
preference? What is your preference for visiting the senior center? And let's find out.
Check all that.
If everybody says morning, then don't put in a lot of effort in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Right? So what is your preference for visiting the senior center? Weekday mornings, weekday afternoons, or Tuesday evening? Okay. How do
Are
you,
you going to put check all that apply?
No.
Or rank them?
no, I want to know what is your preference? Which one is your preference?
Choose.
Yeah, which is your
one.
preference? Yeah. What's your preference?
Right, say so.
Okay, let's see what, yeah. Well, let's not say select one and see what happens.
How about all of the above? All of the above.
Oh, yeah,
You know your
that's-
frequency.
the above.
Okay.
The above. All right. Thank you, Tracy. Okay. All right, how do you prefer to receive information about senior center programs? Check all that apply.
This seems redundant for the survey that we just did.
Well, that's all right. What was the survey? You just think
We
about it?
just did a survey on newsletter, which is how do you like to get information about the senior center?
Now,
And we'll have like over 100 responses. I feel like
town,
we should probably just look at it.
How often do you mail a newsletter?
monthly.
I mean-
Oh, we're not now.
Oh, the mail, the newsletter you make. The reason I'm focusing on that is because it's a very costly option. And you're scaling back on mail. Right?
Yeah, we may end up only mailing like 250, we used to mail 2,000, so.
So we don't really want to encourage.
Well, it may be how they want to receive it. but it's-
Well, we can just, instead of mail the newsletter, we can write printed newsletter, and that means you can buy it at the senior center,
Yeah,
pick it up.
let's do that.
Yeah.
That's the news. Yep.
Well, should we just, and then just take out mail and just write newsletter? Newsletter.
Printed.
Printed, you better put
Printed
The
newsletter.
can be Online, it could be.
And printed newsletter, email.
I crossed out phone call
Yeah.
because do we really want to call
No.
to every
It's a
people?
cancellation.
Right, printed
call it
newsletter, email, town website, social media, word of mouth.
I mean,
But how do we
Our-
control word of mouth? That's, yeah.
I know.
That's more
And
the
it wouldn't
question
be a
about
town
how
website, it would be senior center website.
Right, so the town website is senior center website. Which you get through the town.
You do, but it's still, it says senior center, if you type in senior center website, it will come up.
All right, so we're taking out word of mouth. I don't know, I would get rid of the open-ended other because I'm sure.
Yeah.
Frankly, social media, I mean, we don't post about our events ahead of time on social media, we just post photographs afterwards, so if nobody's ever going to learn about our events.
But what if everybody said, let's go the third way home?
Yeah, I mean, it seems, I don't know, it's just, I'm just saying, we haven't been doing it at all, we don't.
What if they people tell you
But is this-
that's not like?
Yeah, is this strategic planning for the future? I think it goes back to that question of, are we just assessing where we are, where we looking for?
And this is, I mean, if you're thinking about the next, the next group that's coming in that is gonna be in the 60 and 65.
Not on TikTok, they're not gonna know.
Not on TikTok, but like I get a lot of information on Facebook.
Oh, sure, sure.
Or Instagram.
Right,
So, I think if that's coming in, I think it's just important to know if that's where people are, a lot of the current folks aren't necessarily, that's not the main source, but.
and we could say, how would you prefer to receive information? Or, all right, well, but they're not doing it on Facebook, we just sort of establish that. Okay, that's what I hear. Nope, all right, so, going back to the fact that there were two open-ended questions, I don't know that they are necessarily helpful. Is there anything else that people independently outside of this meeting thought they would like to add where they want to? Or 5, 6.
Open-ended, what do you value most about the senior center? Or is that already been asked and answered?
I don't know that open-ended are hard,
Yeah.
It seems a shame to not give them there's at least one thing, one
Yeah,
opportunity.
The additional
Any
comment.
Additional comment.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that, someplace where they can.
Oh, I think that definitely is the last question. I didn't understand why 5 and 6 were in the middle
Okay.
of drop down.
So,
Yeah, I think we can probably.
yeah,
Okay,
as long as there's some way they.
all right.
Some of the quotes might be valuable, something we want to.
Yeah, right, and that's just, so I do think giving people a chance to, actually express themselves, which would be the last one. I'm just saying, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions with a 7th one for additional comments, and suggestions, and then the demographics of gender and age range.
Forward thinking question, like, although is that leading and putting in a box in terms of
Like what, for
raising expectations, like what would you be interested in opportunities in the future?
Other than the specific types of activities would interest you the most?
And number 6 sort of asks about that, right?
What are specific programs, classes, or events that you would like to see offered?
I mean, it just, if we only want one open meeting, we could make you know,
instead of just,
in nine, could say any additional comments, suggestions, any future programs, classes, or events you would like. You know, you could just sort of wrap it into.
right, we could take both those questions, yeah, we take both those questions and under additional comments and suggestions.
And also on number 4, the last one is other, and then there's room where they can write something in, so if there is something they say, hey, why don't we have whatever.
Okay, all right, so, yeah, I mean, I think that the last question, which is the completely open-ended one, should be more than just additional comments or suggestions, should include some of the verbiage of 5 and 6. That sounds good? Yes. Okay, all right. Okay. If people feel that, all right, so that the format is how they like it, the boxes for people to
Before you
check.
I'd like to go back to number 2.
Okay.
Because I think we should add volunteering.
That's true. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah,
think
no, I
we're
was
missing,
thinking about
I
volunteering,
think
yeah.
we're missing some of the
Things
verbs that,
Yeah.
you know, that,
Okay.
like, yeah, because we have
Volunteering is a big deal.
Okay, all right. And,
So we're getting rid of convenient location.
yeah,
Yes.
Right, and,
right,
you know, socializing, exercising, learning something new, seeking support and resources, volunteers, they might be other. In some ways, it's really nice to start with the very action oriented.
right, yeah. And
Yeah, so attending special events or trips.
right, right.
Or attending special events.
Right, yeah, I think that, yeah, because they're all gonna be active verbs, yeah.
I was just missing volunteering.
Yeah, but, all right, so that's, yeah, it's not gonna change.
Because when we went to the bistro, that's not on the event.
Right, right, and the whole idea is, yeah, if you go to the bistro for lunch, then also is socializing and meeting people, right?
So dining at the bistro.
Yeah.
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 Fine.
So I'm used to dining at the bistro and take out lunch or events.
Friend and I have been kind of.
Yeah, for the.
Hello? I
I
thought it was supposed to do it.
can see if I can make sense of it. It was
It's
fine
I thought it
before.
was.
It kind of
You'd have to
does,
be
yeah.
closer to it. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
there we go. There we are.
Well,
Yeah.
now, well, you move over, a little to your right. This is like the rabbit ears when we're kids.
It's not
Move over.
it's thankful.
Weird. You can do it not saying, you can just do the whole room.
As I sit here all alone by myself, just talking.
This looks great. Does it go after the choice?
I don't come here because I am uncomfortable. I don't know.
I sit down at the table and no one sits near me.
It's
I don't
okay.
see,
I don't know that you stand up. Shit.
Well, I might just have to put up with
We'll
it.
just put up.
Have to put up with looking at yourself to pitch the way on the series. Heidi, forgive us. This is really not how we do it.
So are we done with the?
All right, so I do
I'll
want
have
to
to
just
ask about it
double
next
check. All right, so, I will attempt with Carol's help to come back and send all of you a cleaner version of this for us to, and if people want to send back comments to me and Carol that, you know, I put an R where it doesn't belong or something like that. Then we can send out a clean copy for consideration and possibly a vote at our next meeting. Okay, perfect. Okay, great. Okay, so now we go on to the distribution of this. All right, so I'm going to let Carol talk a little bit about what she learned about and how she approached the survey that she did with the help of one of the town departments.
Yeah, we at the library to distribute the one that was on our email newsletter, the on communication. I don't know if any of you saw that.
Yeah, in your weekly.
Yes.
Look, yeah.
And they have an account that we can use, because if you don't have an account, you can only get 25 responses, which is kind of ridiculous. So it works. I mean, the only thing is the setup is a little bit different than this. You don't have a list of check boxes. Well, some things you do, but a lot of the times it goes across, but I don't think that really matters. You can set it up in the same format. We got really nice results. We let it run for 1 week. You can choose choose how long you want to let it run for, and it sums it up, and then we can take it from there.
All right, so first, well,
Are
what is
people
your,
find out about it?
I mean, first, what is your all right, so what is your recommendation for how long the survey should be out there?
I'm just curious.
Oh,
How did people find out about it? If you sent one email.
So ours
later
was,
in the week.
we've used the email newsletter, and then we were just doing people sort of that come to the senior center, so we did the email newsletter, and then we also do, several, we're doing it for a week in the senior center itself. But obviously, we would do it wider for this one.
okay, so the Survey Monkey limitation is in formatting, but obviously it is by email, right? You get a link, or you can actually get a link on a website. Right? I mean, so the link is out there electronically.
Is it actually Survey Monkey?
It's SurveyMonkey, yeah. You can probably, I don't know, I think they must do QR codes too, so you could make a flyer and hang it somewhere and have a QR code on there, right? I think you get so many people to try
And then that will tabulate all the data for us, which is good. But we do want to include paper as an option, right?
And then, well, the best thing to then do is enter it into Survey Monkey,
Oh, yeah,
because then it gets summarized
Yeah.
into it.
Vicky.
It would be nice to give people a heads up about this, because there's so many scams coming out now that, and you're told, don't click on things, don't click on links, don't click on things you get. So if people get an unexpected, we just have to try to find ways to make them feel comfortable clicking on
I
this
think
thing.
it's like on the town website, it's on our
Yeah.
website, right, you know, right?
I just
don't
want to
like
think about
that.
how to
Yeah,
get this to people in a way that
But-
they're willing to do it. Right?
But I do think if it's gonna go out to the email list for the newsletter, having something in the newsletter the month before,
Yeah,
that we are going to be sending next month, well, it'll
Keep your eye out.
right. They'll get an email with the survey. They can also have the link in the electronic version of the newsletter. But yes, I think that that's a good idea to let people know that you will be receiving something, a link that have to be in the electronic newsletter. Yes.
Should we post on social media as well, if you're really trying to get a wide group of people that may not be interacting with you, all those.
Yeah.
Town websites. or,
Right, yeah.
Facebook
Right,
groups,
right,
I don't know.
yeah, right. All things Northborough community,
So you're,
buy nothing, sell nothing.
you're saying that the email will go out to the distribution list that you use for the newsletter?
Well, so that's what I want to talk about. So
Okay.
when we talk about distribution, all right, so distribution will be, the senior center newsletter email list. Yes. I suggested that, Carol reach out to the library and the rec and ask them if they will send it out to their email lists as well. So
So you want to send that separate from the newsletter, not as part of the newsletter?
Yes,
It
yes,
should be
I
in
think
the
so.
newsletter.
It should, yes,
Yeah.
so if in May, in June, it says, next month, we will be doing a survey for the strategic plan. You'll find the QR code in the newsletter and a separate email, right? This way, because some people might respond to the email, other people flip through the newsletter and might miss it, right? So,
Well, if we,
I would think,
hard to say. I mean, the thing is, if you include it in the newsletter, like the email newsletter, people are used to getting that and they trust it.
oh,
So-
is that your Friday thing? you
Yeah,
mean?
the one that
Oh,
goes
the
out
Friday
to-
thing, yes,
the one that
no,
goes
that's
out to
fine.
the email newsletter.
I was thinking the monthly one, okay, I'm sorry, yes. If it's in your Friday update,
And I'll put it right at the top.
I would recommend doing it more than once, because if you miss an email.
Yeah.
okay,
But then
and
how are we targeting, so we're hopefully through like the library, list, like people that don't come here?
all right, so, yeah, so that's what Carol's gonna check in with the library and the rec to access their email. We can also put it on the civic.com, whatever that is. On the town website, there are boxes that you can check that how much stuff you want to get by, alerted to digitally from the town. So,
What about like at
I don't, if we were ready to do.
We had a flyer.
Yeah, with the QR code, I wouldn't do it with any more paper ones that we would have to do, but yes,
QR code. With a lot of the population, like, may not be technologically savvy enough to do that.
But at town, one thing at town meeting, you don't want to hand out paper with the town meeting that you then have to, somebody has to sit and enter it into.
But
Right.
instead of a QR code, could you just put the link? I mean,
Yeah,
a
oh,
very
it could be
simple link.
Right, but I think, but to Liz's point, at least,
Links are hard to type in, that's
Yeah,
why you don't
that's-
include links.
that's why you do the QR code.
Yeah.
I had an 80-year-old teach me how to use QR codes after the pandemic.
Yeah.
Everybody used them. They had to.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting,
Yeah.
there are some people that, but not, I mean, and it's amazing the people that do and don't, the over 70 crowd.
Well, Like I said, town meeting was only to have a slide with the QR code. You could do it from that road.
No, so we could not be able to do that at town
You
meeting.
don't want people to ride.
No, it would be something that would have to be handed out, it has to be printed, the town moderator has to approve it, it would not, unless you wanna wait until the last night of, the end of the last night, where there's any other business.
When everyone else is
Right,
like,
right, any other business that wants to become, before
Well,
the town.
they've got, they have their own big table with their handouts. Could there be some,
With
could there be some stands there with the QR code?
Yeah, sure, we could if town moderator approves, we could have cards that we can hand out, you do this later, or somebody go, I'll do it right now, absolutely, we could have a big one right there, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So that,
When is
I
town
mean,
meeting? April.
the last week of April. All right, so you have to find out about a QR code.
I just find out if it's secure.
All right, yeah, town meeting is April.
And is there gonna be any trouble feeding all this data from these 4 or 5 different sources into the Survey Monkey? Or are you gonna have to do 5 different reports?
No, because it will all of these will lead into one survey monkey survey. Yeah, it's not an issue.
Yeah, I wonder whether or not one person could do the survey more than once, or is it
Depends on how you set it
I,
up.
Yeah.
they probably can, but I mean,
They can.
it's gonna be so exciting
Yeah.
to do more than one time at it.
right, yeah.
Not really.
Well, I really, really, really want there to be much on the center. So I'm going to go with.
100 answers. Like say,
All right,
Marco.
okay, so, all right, so the senior, the week, is it weekly or Friday? Is it-
Weekly.
Okay, so the weekly senior newsletter list, Carol's gonna ask the library and the rec. We're gonna get a QR code, hopefully, that we can then, Carol or I will have to check with the town moderator, which I'm sure will be fine. I will say that we only had one meeting between now and town meeting, so we would have to be committed at that meeting to this and then have the QR code ready to go.
Yeah.
So,
If you can, I can look at it ahead of time.
and give, yeah, and hopefully it won't be substantive changes, it'll be words
Right.
and that we can do, yes, as long as you don't send it to each other, just send it to us.
Right.
So that's a great idea. So the other thing, so again, I think Facebook, it should be on Facebook, it should be on town website, or the social media. Well, that was, yeah, so now that we have a sense of, we don't know when we're gonna open it, right?
May is older American.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we're gonna have it sometime around town meetings.
All right, so if town meeting is the 27th, so, and we meet on, we don't meet till the 14th, yeah, we meet on the 14th.
We meet on 14th,
Yeah, just putting it in my calendar.
basically 2 weeks.
Yeah, so as long, and I do think that as long as we have everything ready to go, we're not talking about a heavy print, because it's all electronic, so we don't have to worry about printing deadlines, things like that, right?
Just for the handouts at the town meeting.
Yeah, but that's gonna be simple, because we're
What's
just
the
gonna do,
deadline? Day newsletter. When does that have, information have to go to,
oh, I think we missed the main newsletter already.
Which,
what's the deadline for the May newsletter?
the May one? Oh, no, we're doing the April one right now, so it would be in like 3 or 4 weeks.
And you're talking about the hard copy one,
We're
there's
talking about if you want to put it in the senior center newsletter, right,
Yeah.
at the time.
That's
right,
QR
Northborough
code.
Times, Northborough Times, right?
Yeah,
Northborough Times, you would want to put,
I mean, you can create a survey in a QR code, you can update the survey later. Easy enough.
true.
Yeah, that's true.
You create the link, you create the QR
Yeah.
code, even if you haven't finalized all the questions, you
Yeah.
just don't publish
You
it.
can, yeah,
oh, okay,
so you can create it and still.
So I'm just thinking about the deadline, because I
Right.
don't think you want to wait until the June newsletter.
No, that would be
Put
too
it-
long. We can't
Exactly.
hold the
If you
survey
put it
that
in
long.
the senior center,
But people-
QR codes, then, But, you know, try to access the survey from the QR code if it's not up and running.
It won't be
come back.
published yet.
Won't be published.
No one will see it.
Yeah.
They just
hope that the QR
If
code.
it needs to get into the newsletter.
But just
Yeah,
get
I
it.
hope the QR code when they print it in the newsletter, that
You're
you're
not
not
printing or publishing.
fine enough that people can use it.
I don't know, I mean, I find our Northborough Times online version difficult, I mean, mainly because I'm looking at it on my phone, and trying to move back and forth, I would, yeah, but I love the fact, if it's in the weekly email one, that to me is a better,
And that can be an actual link. It
yeah,
doesn't
that
have
can
to
be a link.
right, that's right, that's the actual link, so, all right. So,
But you talked, I guess I'm just referring back to the minutes, you talked about putting something in the newsletter a month before,
right,
so that you would give some advance notice to increase comfort.
right,
So-
right,
so
and then,
how
right,
do you
right,
do it?
right, but there were two,
Right.
right, so there were two things, one, when Carol was first referring to the newsletter, I was assuming she meant the Northborough Times, she was referring to the weekly email update. So
Okay.
if we're talking about the weekly email update, then we don't need to give people a heads up because they already are comfortable with getting that. If we were talking about the Northborough Times, we wanted it in the Northborough Times, so if they got an email from the Northborough Times, so to speak. So, that's a complication that doesn't necessarily have to happen. So,
But we can put a QR code
In the
and
Northborough
people will trust that.
Right. Northborough Times QR code. The weekly newsletter will have a link. Carol's gonna check with the library and the rec to see if they would let her have access, or would they wish, they would send out the link on their list, sir. We're gonna find out if town meeting will let us have materials to hand out for town meeting with the QR code for the survey. We're gonna put it on Facebook, the town website, flyers.
Yeah, you'll have flyers here. You can hand
Oh,
out to
paper
people
flyers.
at the
Yeah.
senior center.
Yeah.
Flyers.
And we could even hang them around, you could hang them, post on them, take them places.
All right, and I know that that is mostly digital. Do we want them to have some printed actual surveys in certain locations? At least here for your,
I would think at the senior.
Oh, and the
center,
senior
like,
center,
That's the
yeah.
only place I-
all right, paper flyers and
Because
surveys
otherwise you'll never get.
at center owned, all right.
And there are definitely people who come here and live in there.
Right, right. I mean, I will say, I would suggest in addition, add the two Northborough housing sites.
Okay, yeah.
Senior Center and Northborough Housing Authority, the two senior sites. Okay. All right, now with all of that, if we are going to target having it out there, town meeting is the week of the 27th, so in theory, we don't really have to do anything before then, right? That
If you want to kick
that
it
could be the
off, then,
launch,
yeah.
right? I mean, I'm just trying to give Carol time. Then to Linda's point, May is Older Americans Month. Is a month too long, Teresa? I mean,
I mean, what's the
You wanna get as
downside?
much information.
okay. All right.
And that'll give people more emails presumably than.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
before you,
That's
yeah,
true.
okay, all right, so let's try to launch it on April 27th and leave it open in 4 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, that goes out to, yeah, I mean, leave it open for 4 weeks. That sound reasonable?
Yeah. Do we need to do anything from an ADA perspective? Do we need to conscious of vision do we need to
Yeah.
be? Well, you know, just,
We just learned that there is new ADA, as of June, just recently, because we just heard this at China, that all of our materials are now being redone for, ADA compliance, for vision. Yeah. for
So
low
if
vision.
something's in Survey Monkey, can you expand it?
well, they can expand it, I'm just thinking about the printed ones, so they need a, you know,
Printed ones, we could do a large.
larger, there's one, I make sure that we're conscious.
And actually, that,
I say our deadlines are April, so.
was it April? Yeah, I think, I think that must have been, I was just with China meeting today, and it might have been April, and they said that that's why a lot of our materials are coming out in Word now, because PDFs are not, compliant. Yeah,
That's creating or something.
yeah, yeah. So, good catch. You just learned that today too. All right, so survey discussion, including content and distribution. I will say that if there are the paper ones that will have to be entered into Survey Monkey. Carol did say that she could probably get a volunteer, but I said, you know, if anyone that would find that so interested in volunteering, I don't know how many, we're talking 20 or we're talking 500 of the paper ones, but.
We can address success when we get there.
Yeah, right, okay.
We'll
Something to
see.
plan. All right, does anybody else have any thoughts on that one item in our strategic planning process? Okay, so then the next step is to just, okay, thank you so much. Sure. The next one, all right, review the outline of next steps in developing the plan. Conducting surveys, okay, all right, so in addition to stakeholder engagement, we had talked about focus groups or interviews.
Where are you with the strategic plan process?
I think that's the number 3. Right, that's where the conduct surveys are. So, thoughts on. Stakeholder
I
engagement?
have big vision done. Oh, 3 under.
Oh, sorry.
3 under 2. Okay.
Oh.
Not 3,
Okay, Roman numeral 2,
not 3.
not number 3, sorry about that.
No,
So the survey is for the user, right? But the stakeholders have to be engaged in some way, shape, or form. That would be staff, town leaders. I think it would behoove us to get their feedback. All right. It shows
All
what they
right,
know where the
we have seniors, caregivers, all right.
Well, the seniors and the caregivers, those should be answered in the same survey, don't you?
Right, yes. Yeah, that's the ones that we just were working on. They're the users versus the town leaders and, but those
But
questions.
maybe a focus group then, like the caregivers, as opposed to a person.
Yeah, I think that might be a good idea.
Do a focus group, have a focus group of caregivers.
Or how do you get these kids?
Well, let's
together
just-
to do a book?
All
I
right,
think the best way would do it during the daybreak program. You know,
Do you see a lot of
well, I mean, there are a lot of caregivers that bring somebody here. You know, that would be the time when you know that
Well, a
there
lot.
are people coming. Now, some of them, you know, want to stay. You know, that's the thing.
yeah, because the
But
whole
if they
reason why
are
they're
going-
bringing
yeah.
somebody here is so that they can have a break.
Yeah, well, I guess if you did an online group, then, caregivers have a hard time getting away.
Yes. Okay, so
they might have a lot to say.
Oh, yeah, that's why I'm trying to think of.
Well,
Should we survey them about when they'd like to be surveyed?
well,
Just kidding.
the majority of the caregivers are seniors themselves. And if we're targeting them through our survey, I mean, if we're reaching them through our survey, we are gonna get information from them. So, I mean, that might be the number one reason why they don't come to the senior center, because they can't get away from the care recipient.
It's really true that the majority of
Caregivers,
are seniors.
Are
you saying-
partners.
are you saying what?
yeah,
Partners.
and the
Probably the
majority,
majority,
Right. and more often than not, they predecease the person they're caregiving for because of lack of attention to their own needs and or stress.
Well, and even the sons and daughters, maybe seniors, or themselves seniors.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. So, Teresa, in preliminary to number 3, stakeholders engagement is conducting surveys. Is that the surveys that's not the surveys we just
No,
talked about?
Conversations with those groups, get feedback. You could use the outline that we just did, but you're really looking for open-ended reaction, because you're either in person or by Zoom. And you're getting feedback, so you should decide what kind of feedback. We're not saying you want to do puzzles, we're saying like, what are your challenges?
Right.
How
How can
can
they-
leaders, what do you even know what's going on here? Right?
And
What if, how do you prioritize, how do you think the town should prioritize services to seniors?
And is there merit to focus group over survey, or is it just getting information differently? I mean, like group. Yeah, I mean, so in other words, if we created a survey for caregivers, is that a reasonable way to get feedback from them, or is it focus group better?
Yes.
I gave a survey out the other week of the daybreak group and I got 2 back. Not very active. Out of about 8, there's only about 8 people that were there. So I got about a quarter, which I suppose is about what you get, in general. But it's a challenge. It's a challenge to reach people who are caregivers. Like that group, so that people, there are many other caregivers in town. And it's a real challenge to reach them. I don't know. I think printed maybe is, or online might be the best way.
I wonder whether we can gauge Springwell, and they have a caregiver support program that they're funded through the feds, whether they would be willing to share our, our inquiry.
What information do you want from caregivers?
Yeah, what are they gonna tell us that the users aren't?
So what we put on our caregiver survey was, what do you think of this program? Are there needs you have that aren't being met? That type of thing, could you feel supported? We had 5 questions, which I keep it brief, but.
I'm wondering, it depends on what we want to ask, but, if Jocelyn is talking to folks and said, I'd like to ask you 2 questions, if you don't mind, we're conducting, we're doing our strategic plan. She had two questions that were quick answers, that would be a way to engage a different group of caregivers that don't come here.
Yeah, I agree.
But and I guess as we're developing the strategic plan for the senior center, this information from the caregivers, what are we looking for from them? Why they don't attend, or what would be?
Now, what their needs are.
What their needs are.
What support they need.
Because what support?
Remember, you're putting this into a larger picture and presenting this to her senior leadership to say, here's what's really going on right in town, and here are the people impacted. Here's where we're serving people well, here's what's missing. And it's all about resources, right? What can we do? What should we be doing? What's the highest quality of service to senior? Like, we didn't have this building before, right? This was a dream, right? Yeah. And there's a lot of politicking around this. So we have it. Are we doing the right set of things here? I mean, instinct says yes. But are we missing it?
Yeah.
And then the reason that you're doing these stakeholder engagement, like think about what the word stakeholder means. It means they have a stake in what goes on here, theoretically, but you're kind of forcing, they are thinking about it to say,
If they offer.
right, you're making them think, right? And right. So it's like, oh, right, this is important, you know, I'm putting obvious things out to support the population or seniors. We have a building, I'm using it for building, but here's how it's.
Those would be more conversations rather than.
Correct, right.
I think I'll reach out,
This conversation.
I'll reach out to Donlin, the director of the, whatever the title is, at Springwell, who oversees the Title III money, which is the caregiver support money, and ask her if they, you know, we don't get them, yes, I know, they are giving about any community grants. Just to see whether or not there is a way in which they can help us reach caregivers in a way in which they would have the opportunity to respond, that is going to become another burden, you know, for them. Are you really?
Considering they could tell us who was in North.
I know, that's what I'm thinking too, I know.
I would not. No, for top.
All right.
You know,
You'll be
they wouldn't
sitting on
know
your
us.
hands waiting.
how does Jocelyn summarize? I mean, I love her stories in your report, but does she ever categorize the types of calls she gets? Is there a way that she is so incredibly effective.
Yeah.
Really good to figure out how to ask her how to document that. Like, what does she see that, I mean, this story, today's meeting was great, you know, and in some ways a wonderful, simple solution.
Yeah.
But I know she deals with very complex things. Is there a theme or what, you know, just, I'd like to.
You know, what we could do is, I mean, she documents everything that she does, but it's not categorized, and that might be a good thing, like every talk that she has or whatever conversation that she's just quickly, okay, general info or more involved or whatever, you know, just
I would
to
say
keep track of it.
family,
Right,
That's
the
a
call
really
was
good
from a caregiver, yeah.
even if it's
Yeah.
just for a short time, you know,
So,
exactly, just to.
Yeah.
All right, I just have to think some more about how we reach the caregivers.
And then what's the definition of town leaders? Is that select board? Is that department chairs?
all of the above.
Probably all of the above.
Anybody who's impacting budget.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you ever have a question at the other department head meetings that you went to, that you would ask someone to say, could I ask?
I think that would be more likely to choose a certain department heads because, you know, like the treasurer, I mean, you know, it isn't really involved. But like the assessor's office potentially, health and human services, rec, library, you know, they're kind of the ones that we tend to at least hire. So,
Well, but TPW also, I mean,
Right,
right.
right, the treasurer collector
But I
is
don't
part
think
of the
they're
elderly.
particularly engaged with, I mean, like they do things for us, but they're not particularly like looking out for elder issues. as
Is
much.
their perception of us interesting, something we want to know? Just ask.
Yeah, maybe.
I would say make it as broad as possible, because you already have friends and colleagues, but you're looking to expand that circle of knowledge, their knowledge, their thinking. Oh, like you would sit across from them and say, how do you see yourself engaging with the senior center? It could have done this like one to one, and like, I don't think you and I have anything in common, and suddenly if you force the question, they're like, well, you're.
Right, well, yeah, I mean, I know that, yeah,
Sidewalk accessibility
There we go.
in neighborhoods.
That's
with
true.
older adults,
That's
that would have meaning.
right, but it's not us from the DPW, that's the select board.
Well, but,
Right,
okay,
right,
but they've
right.
got, someone's gonna suggest it.
Yeah.
I guess because I think to your point, if we constrain ourselves by, like, well, we'll never be open evenings, we'll never be open weekends, okay. That's, you know, I guess I would ask, you know, because what people, exactly, I would make it broader, and I think engaging other town departments, who knows? I know, so they might.
Because they could be
also have
caregivers,
parents.
yeah, because they could be caregivers themselves.
I think personal stories would come out.
Right. So, all right, so I think there's a way in which we can reach out to staff and town leaders, being the department heads and or our elected officials. I'll have to give some, because I think the rationale for it is very well said. But Linda, just now, how we do it, it's a little, I'll have to think a little more about that. I'm wondering for the caregivers, if we could enlist the help of the Friends, who the majority of the Friends board are all older adults and may or may not be caregivers themselves, but would they help us put together a focus group of caregivers? You know, themselves and or, you know, somebody else. Reach out to
You have to know what you're asking. You know, folks, you know, that's what's gonna be important, yeah, we're asking, and then you really want to have someone who can facilitate, right, the process correctly, and someone else who can document it, and somebody else who can hear from a different perspective.
Right.
So we really want to think about that structure before we jump to how we're gonna recruit them.
right? Okay, well, that's way outside my bounds.
I mean, I asked Jocelyn, I mean, she's got such a, I would ask her first, because it might be that she says, yeah, I can tell you right now and we'll document it.
Right.
As opposed to spending more time and effort getting the same answer.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so we're going to, Carol, if you can, again, to reach out to Jocelyn to ask for her input on getting, you know, the caregivers, you know, whether the focus group or, you know, however that she thinks would be the best way to gather that information. And if she thinks the focus group, would she be willing to do it? Because she would probably be a good person to know how to ask questions.
Or to summarize what she's already read.
Or, yeah,
In some type of broadcast.
right, yeah. And then we have to think
And
about,
not forever.
yeah, right.
But she actually might find it meaningful.
Yeah, it might not be that hard to do.
As far as the department heads and leaders, I mean, obviously, you know, getting on the select board agenda is easy, so to speak. But that's talking to them, not actually engaging in conversations, which I would definitely, you know. So maybe
You would do it at a meeting?
I'm saying, I don't know that that is the best, it's easy to get, to ask to be on an agenda item, but I don't think that's the way in which we want to do it now. It's almost like a, you know,
But then you can't have, the thing with the select board is you can't have more than a couple of them at a meeting, or else it has to be one of their meetings.
well, it just has to be open meeting and they have to call themselves to order, it's fine. I mean, that, just like they did when they did financially, some in the same room together. But
They have to declare it at the meeting ahead of time.
if they were
all
quorum,
out to dinner,
oh, no, that, you can go out to dinner, but you have to, you don't have
In
an
any meeting we've talked about.
Yeah.
no,
no, you're not supposed to talk about business. Yeah, you can't build consensus or, you know, deliberate on an issue. Yeah, violation of open meeting. So, all right, so I think we'll have to think about that. But once we get the survey up and running, we don't have to think about the survey anymore, so we can spend the month of April thinking about you know, more deeply about these things, these next,
And can I add, some of the questions might be about community needs? We think the raised needs are facing the seniors in our community. What is the role of the senior center? What barriers might prevent older adults from participating? How could the senior center partner more effectively with different departments?
those are all good questions for the
Staff.
Robert. Yeah.
But just 3 or 4 general questions, you get a full hour's worth of time.
is there value for a focus group for the senior centers?
You mean just staff talking?
Yeah.
I totally agree.
So yeah, you
I
have
mean, I
to
think we
overlook
should-
the staff.
I mean, you have to definitely get input from them one way or another. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it'd be focused.
Well, you want some structure so that you can say, it wasn't just an open conversation.
There were specific questions, yes.
And you should participate as a staff. You know, not
I think there's value to asking the staff without you there.
I think either way.
It's not an evaluation.
Yeah, no,
It's
it's not.
about the senior center.
I understand that, but there are some people that are not comfortable even sharing their opinion in front of their boss.
I like to miss that people are comfortable.
I don't know.
You never know what
I'm just trying to be sensitive.
It's such a small staff.
Yeah,
I
is there like
think they
a
all-
big deep hierarchy or not?
Because even the band drivers, some of those things.
Oh, sure they do, more than anyone, because they have hands-on experience with this president. They're the ones that see them not making it fast or, have trouble with some of their groceries.
Anybody who has.
All right, so for our next meeting, we are going to, hopefully have the final version of the survey and a finite list of how it's going to be distributed. And then we're going to continue our discussion on focus groups and interviews for caregivers, staff, and town leaders.
Is there still like a Northborough Clergy Association, any city, because we're not getting other connected services.
Bring them together, but that's in their own organization.
Oh, there's that parish time newsletter that comes out. Oh, I don't know. I just know I get it.
That magazine.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, we could call, contact the churches if they want to participate separately.
Which is interesting,
Or whatever.
that's where the interviews come. Is to be able to ask them.
Yeah.
Would you have time for a 20-minute phone call so we could ask you 5 questions or something?
Yeah.
Because I think it's the other people who have kind of one-to-one contact.
Oh, it's like the food pantry volunteers, the Healthy Cans volunteers, the veterans, American Legion, they have their own food pantry. I'll volunteer to do something at the veterans if they should be here. Well, that focus group.
Thanks over.
All right. Any other old or new business?
There's one thing I just wanted to mention. Sure. May 6th, the Mass Council on Aging and other groups are organizing the older adult lobby day. If anybody's interested in going, I know I went once to the State House. They give you a free lunch actually if you register and sign up.
I would just say there's
If you're over 60.
another stakeholders would be Kate, our state representative. Correct.
Robin Kennedy,
And Kate Donahue, Robert Kennedy.
Meg Kilcoyne.
Right, those
I
are all-
just was at the State House advocating for cultural institutions.
Right.
Met Kennedy and then Robin's chief of staff.
And I would be thinking with the director of the House of Environment, Chip Roth, maybe first to conversation.
Do any of the, I don't wanna say nursing homes, elder facilities around here bring people to the senior center ever?
Whitney Place does. Because, what's his name?
Well, Whitney Place is the only assisted living.
The
in
only
Northborough.
assisted living.
The others are nursing homes, which
Okay,
they,
Which you couldn't bring somebody from
They
nursing
would
home.
be good.
But Whitney Place, Jim is on the Friends Board, and he's very involved, and he has brought people over here, and he's had us over there, and that type of thing. Yeah.
And they use the van transportation too.
he just was at the Dolphin last week.
Nice. And over 50 living communities.
We have,
Around the corner from me.
oh, you have over 55, you have Birchwood, you have the one that right before the, Marlboro line by Good Now's grave there. What is the one by 35? Oh, yeah, the chicken farm. Yep.
Do they have like committees?
They have a little,
Yeah, they have an HOA, I mean, they have a group, I know that Birchwood does. Yeah,
What about home?
as a nursing home,
Oh, it is? Oh, interesting.
they have the the memory care assisted living.
Okay. And I hate to ask a stupid question, but where is Whitney, please?
Oh, it's Beaumont, right by
You
St.
know where
Rose,
the-
by St. Rose.
It's right across from the post office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's Beaumont is their nursing home, which place is their assisted living, so it's like transitions, like.
So it's up and behind that? Oh, okay, all right, next to church.
Yeah, so we do have our own, I mean, that's a good place to. They are of age, but are they, people that come here?
Whitney Place,
No, Interval Farms,
oh, the 55.
Birchwood.
Yeah.
The one right before you get to Marlboro, that's the one.
That's community.
Yeah, the,
That's where we live.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Tony Andrews' place. Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah. So we've very few. They would also be small. Okay. All right, kids. I entertain a motion to adjourn. So, and a second?
I second.
So second. All those in favor? All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, oh, you
Anybody, whoever walks by and hits the end button first. At the bottom. See where it says end?
Yeah, but it's gonna stop the